Let's go and check it out. Activate correlation, how we can achieve that one. Go to the PPT and understand one scenario. Okay, correlation. So we are going to model a workflow like this. Okay, one process control will be there with the correlation with you know approval of absence, where I will choose the option activate correlation, and this particular workflow will be completed when options request from outside will be approved. Okay, so see here, one wait for approval step, I have put it over here, and this is going to be waiting for the event to receive the approval. Once it receives the approval, then this particular step of the process control, you know, will be responsible for going further this particular workflow to complete. See in more detail. Come here. One person will be creating a options request, and once the options request is created, it will be sending for approval to the manager. Once the manager approved, this workflow, which is having a process control step, which is waiting for an event to receive as an approved event, then it will complete. So this particular step is basically, with the help of this step, and both step together is waiting for an approval request. Once it is going to receive the approval request from outside, then this workflow will be completed. Another scenario, for example, you know that when you create a purchase order is created only when a purchase requisition is there in place, right? Or a quotation is there in place. So you have modeled a workflow where you have created a purchase order approval steps. So you want your purchase order approval steps to go further once your purchase requisition is created and approved, right? So you can see that the two different activity are correlated, right? So when two different activity are correlated, for example, invoice processing along with purchase order processing with respect to purchase request, sales order processing with respect to purchase order creation, like that. So this correlation will be helping you over there, where the two different or two separate activity are related with each other. So here, this particular scenario, I'm going to demonstrate it, how you can create the correlation, how you can, this particular workflow, you can say you can proceed further this particular workflow once your approval comes from the outside, right? So let's go and see the steps involved in order to demonstrate this process control. So you'll have to use a T code called SWF underscore CRL1 in order to create the process, in order to create the correlation. Okay. Then another important function module what we will be using in order to create the approval event, so that this can receive this approved event and we can go further. So let's go and see the steps. The steps I have put it out. You can also go and practice, Let me go to the system directly and show you over there. So come here into the fork. Sorry, not into the fork, but come here, or maybe I will create one new workflow quickly. Come here and we have to use this process control, and this process control means this particular workflow is waiting for the approval request from outside. To wait for approval request. Core activate correlation, this one. It'll have to mention the event name. It'll have to mention the correlation name. So let's go and quickly define all these things. So at this moment, I'm just using a simple the one which will not ask anything. Just click on this OK button. So it's asking for the step. Maybe I will choose this. Click on this OK. Save this one and Z6 correlation demo. Activate this one. Okay. So here this process control, I'm going to use this one, activate correlation. For this purpose, you know that it's asking for name of event, correlation name. So let's go and quickly create a correlation. Hope you are able to understand the requirement. Requirement is from outside, means outside of this workflow in the same organization. Someone is creating the absence request because he's willing to go on vacation. So to his manager, he is creating the absence request. Once his manager is going to approve his absence, this particular workflow will be completed successfully. That's the meaning of completed successfully, in the sense it will proceed further, because currently it's waiting for the approval event from the manager. So let's go and try to achieve this requirement. Correlation name, I'm going to create one correlation. For that, the transaction is SWF underscore CRL1 / O SWF underscore CRL1. You can also type here in the chat box, SWF underscore CRL1 is the correlation. So ZWF training correlation. Click on this. And here you'll have to define the component. So absence, form absence. This is the business object going to be used for the purpose of creating the absence request and their approval. And which transaction, already in the very beginning of this session we have discussed, SWXF is the transaction through which you can create the absence request, right? So here you can come and you can create the absence request. So when you click on the save button, the business object which is responsible, I will show you. Go to the /o SWELS, activate this. So /n SWLS, activate this, switch off and switch on, and then create the request. Okay, you have to mention your personal number. I will let you know how you can create your personal number, but at this moment keep it blank and click on this save button. Now go to SWEL to see the trace. So if you check it here, you can see that form options is the object type and created event got trigger of that particular object type, which is creating the options request. And this options request will be there under the inbox of the manager. Okay. And currently I am the manager. So means in this demo scenario. So I will be receiving over here in my inbox, and there I can approve, and then it will proceed further. You can see that this is particular standard workflow associated with this creation request. Okay. So this is how. Now let's go. We are creating the correlation object. That's why we are using this form options, because all the activities related with this business object. And now one element you will have to create. So come here and give this element over here. So the element name may be the personal number. We can give, just paste it over here, and you can select the structure and their reference field. So SWX, this one, and this one. Or directly maybe the type for this personal number, partner, or whatever the data element, directly you can mention it over here. So that's also perfectly fine. Click on the save button. Okay. Okay. And your correlation is created. So very simple to create the correlation. Now let's quickly have the test it over here. For having the test, we should have, the data available. Okay. So what we will do that, we will create one employee in our system. So for that, you can go and use the T code PP01, very fundamental, /n PP01. This is one very much useful T code in the HR domain in order to create the employee, and so many things happens with the help of T code. We are going to use this T code for creating one employee number. So that option, let it be like object type. For the external employee, we can just select external employee. So I'm just looking for that option, external employee. Object ID automatically will be generated. And now click on this create button. And here I'm giving the employee name. Click on this save button. And here this option means this employee number got generated in this system. Now go to this transaction to create a options request, and this is the, just note down 1020 is the options request number. So this options request number is nothing but a key field for the business object form options. Personal number you can give it over here and click on this save button. So 1020, I will just put it over here. 1020 is the request number, and the one, this is my employee. Now if you check it out once again, this form options, click on this, and here if you go and click on this here, form options number, so this is the key field, right? Come here and go to the transaction once again, SWF underscore CRL1 correlation. I want to test it basically. So go into this change mode or maybe display mode, click on this button and click on this test data. Here under the test data, for the form options, you can give that key. the key which we have noted it down, 1020. Click on this button, Control V, click on this OK, and click on this OK button. So see here, test data, test result, and click on this button, you will be able to check it out. So here you see that we are not getting the data properly. There is some problem. Looks like 1020. Click on this OK button, correlation key, correlation version. Fine, it looks like fine. Let's see how it happens. Maybe let me change it. And basic data, there is some problem looks like. Go to the basic data, go to this form options. Yeah, actually I'm missing the assignment. So go into the assignment section, click on this define assignment, and with this form options, you will be having the number, right? So choose this number and then choose this personal number. Okay, so personal number, and then this number just will have to map it, and then we will work. No, this is the key field, right? Sorry for that. Personal number, we have to choose this one, correct? This is the personal number. This is the personal number. This number is the key field, so that we don't have to choose. Click on this, save it, and now just run this. Give the test data and come here, this number, double click on this, give this key, and click on this OK button, and correlation. Yeah, so here this personal number 500711450 is automatically appearing, right? So that means when you are giving this form number, automatically it's fetching the personal number details. So this is what it is like, the way I was willing to get. Why it is required? Because when I'm defining the workflow, there the personal number is going to be, this particular number is going to be my main identification key for a person for which the options was raised and approval was received. So this is one important field which I should get using this. This is a correlation key, right? This is a correlation key. This is your correlation key. Based upon this key, you are going to identify your workflow and trigger the workflow. It is not like that for any of the personal number or any of the employee number you are going to triggering, right? So now come to this workflow, right? And we will give the name of the correlation, the one which we have just created. So this is the name of the correlation. I will just put it here as well. And give it over here, name of the event will have to define it locally over here, right? So let me click on this save button. It's not allowing because the event is not there. Cancel this. Let's quickly define the event. So go to this basic data, go to this version dependent current workflow version, and we will create the event. Click on this button, and for this, give the name of this event name as a options. Wait for event, wait for event by using correlation. So this particular option we can choose, and business object, this one, form options, and then means approved event, right? So one event options I have created, form options, and this approved, And the receiver type, we have to choose this one, wait step event. Okay. Click on this OK button and just save this one. Now go back and come here and come here, come here. Name of the event options is now coming. I have defined this locally, right? Correlation name, just we have copied and pasted, right? And here use this bn using binding because we are going to use the binding. So binding does not exist. Let's create the binding. So this is the personal number. So binding, how you are going to create, so for defining the binding, actually we'll have to define some container element over here in the workflow. So let's quickly create the container element. So the very first container element which you are going to create is EMP number or employee number, maybe personal number, person EMP number, something like that. Okay. So because I'm going to use the business object type for this person, let's put it as a BO person. It's not a simply number, it's an object. So now the object type here, the generic object type PDO types we will have to use. This is a generic object type which will ask for the type of employee and the personal number, both information at runtime. Properties give as an import parameter. While testing, we are going to supply the data, the personal number. Okay. Click on this OK button and this is fine. Another container which we have to create, that is your absence request, absence object. So let's create that absence BO for absence, object for absence. So here for same name, we can mention it over here. Form options we can select and click on this OK button. Okay. And now for the correlation instance, like if you can simply click on this save button and click on this check button, it will it's working fine. There is no problem. But if you try to activate, let's see, we are able to activate also, this is fine, but it's not going to work until and unless when you give the correlation instance. What is this correlation instance? So correlation instance is nothing but a instance of the class name CLSWF underscore mod underscore correlation. So that instance also will have to create. So double click over here and create one reference for this correlation object. So give this one over here. We'll have to choose the class name, and the class name is going to be this one, CLSWF underscore mod underscore correlation. Click on this OK button and now define the binding. You are now good to go ahead and define the binding. Ref underscore correlation object. Just click on this button and this reference correlation object is coming in the drop down. Click on this binding does not exist. And from the container, this is a personal number. This rule is nothing but your correlation rule. Okay. And here BO person. And from here, this object ID. So object ID of this person is the same as the personal number of this correlation. So I'm mapping, I'm sending the data from this workflow to this correlation. Okay. So from this particular step, the personal number, that means the employee number, is going to this correlation, and this correlation is then will be used in association with the event. Click on this OK button and just click on this save and click on this OK. Now one wait step we will have to define. Click on this wait, and then you'll have to wait for approve. Okay, wait for event. Let it be like this container element. This container element is nothing but your BO options. Okay, so select this BO options, and the event which you will have to choose is approved event. Okay, so this, and once you choose, click on this binding, and then here from the event object to the form options, right? So event object with the BO options, you'll have to choose this. Click on this OK button. You are receiving the this, and now I think it is fine. Press enter. Just click on this OK button and just save this one. Okay, let's see if it is everything fine. Binding activation options, this is okay. Correlation name, this reference object, correlation instance, and go back, wait for approve, wait for approval, view options, form options. This looks good. And one more option, see here, this actually will have to choose use correlation. All right, so that you can use the correlation. From the correlation you can receive the the approval event, right? So here, as soon as you are going to select this option, correlation name, you can mention it. So this is the correlation name, and binding, from there you are going to define the binding. So it's click on this OK button, and this personal number we can choose it, and here you have the person and this object ID. So just come here and put it. Now it looks fine. The personal number you are passing from this correlation, from this workflow to this correlation. All right, so based upon that, like this wait event will be passing the personal number to the correlation, and correlation is already having the personal number from the process control. So once this is going to get match, wait event will be received, and then your process control will be executed. So click on this OK button and click on this save button. Now it looks fine. Click on this activate button, and now let's go and check it out, do it out the testing, or maybe one more step we can just introduce it over here for the purpose of uh, noticing that a step is getting executed once the approval events received. So simple step, send mail, just send email, copy this, paste this, okay, and send email, send email, okay, and save it, and save and activate. So here, till here, you understood. Now we are going to see the testing part. Okay. One more thing, what you will have to do that in SWE2 transaction, you will have to, you know, maintain one fresh entry. So what is that fresh entry you will have to maintain? Let me show you. You'll have to go into the change mode somewhere. it's already opened. Let me cancel this. Yeah, so click on this new entry, and under object type, form options, event approved, receiver type, correlation manager, and under this function module you will have to give this receiver function module swf crl correlate by event, and click on this linkage activated, and you will have to click on the save button because already I have done this particular setting. If I click on save, it will give me error, but if you are starting from fresh, you will have to do this setting and you have to save it. So this is one important step.